Ladies, have you ever wondered how we actually come down with the disease? How do we get sick? Do you think people just happen to get sick? They just happen to have bad luck and they get diagnosed with heart disease or cancer or diabetes or fibromyalgia, you name it. Do you think that it's just because they have bad luck? Well, let's talk about that today because there's no such thing as, things just happening. Everything is energy. Everything is energy. So, we're going to talk about that today because I think that it's really important that we understand how we get sick and how not to get sick, right? So, welcome back. My name is Sada Sharon Vandelies, and I am a mind, body, spirit, holistic health coach for women, single women in particular in midlife. So I support single women in midlife, women that want to transform, recreate, reinvent themselves, want to become the woman that they feel they were meant to be and they just never had the opportunity to come out and blossom fully because they were, doing the program thing. They were doing the thing that we all do, right? We go to school, get married, have children, and all of that. And then after that, we're like, so now what? So when you are saying now what? Now it's my time, then this channel is for you. So I don't know if you can recall that when your life gets really stressful, all of a sudden your back goes out. I know it happened to me. And it happened to me several times. And every time it happens, I know it's emotional. I know it. So the thing is, there's a rule. We are energy, right? And there's a rule that energy can never be destroyed. It can only be transformed, but it can never be destroyed. That is why there's really no such thing as dying. We just transform into a different quality of energy. We leave this physical dense body and we, transform into a different kind of energy. So our emotions, our energy, our thoughts, our energy, everything is energy. Okay, the chair that I'm sitting in is energy. It's just different qualities, different densities, right, of energy. Some energy is dense, some energy is light, some of it is visible, some of it is invisible. But this whole universe is energy. If you break down any physical thing, you're going to come to a point where there's nothing, where there's just nothing, right? To the molecular level, all the way to the atoms, there's just nothing. Space. So it's just the energy coming together, becoming denser and denser and denser and denser until it can manifest into something that we could see with the visible eye, but it is still energy. Now, how do we actually get sick? So we have different emotions and different thoughts. Now, our thoughts create our emotions. Our thoughts are responsible for how we're going to feel. Because if you have nice thoughts, positive thoughts, you're going to feel nice and you're going to feel better. You're going to feel positive. But if you're always thinking negative, You can't feel good if you think negatively, because your thoughts determine how you feel. Now, once let's talk about once we're feeling, right? Once we are feeling it, the thought, now the thought, the feeling, now it's gonna flow through us. Now, if the thought is a positive thought, it will become a high vibrational feeling, right? It will become joy, love, excitement, fun, all of that. And those are high vibrational energies, and they move through the body nice. They just move through the body. There's no getting stuck or anything. They just move through us nicely. But when the thoughts are negative, and now the emotions are negative and heavy, like anger and grief and frustration and rage and jealousy, now when we feel those, we are always inclined to suppress them because they don't feel good, so we don't want to feel them. But you cannot get rid of that. You can't get rid of energy. You suppress it, and now the energy is trapped. It is trapped in your body. It can't move through you because you won't allow yourself to feel it and let it move through you because you don't want to feel bad. If you don't want to feel bad, don't think bad. Just a little side note. But yes, so now the energy doesn't know where to go. Now, listen to this, because this will blow your mind. Certain qualities of energy will settle in certain organs in the body. Let me bring that up so I don't mess it up. Okay, so for instance, grief and sadness are gonna settle in the chest and in the lungs. I guess that's why people may say they have a heavy heart, right? When they're sad, they have a heavy heart, because the energy is trapped in the chest and in the lungs. Another thing is that in Chinese medicine, they believe that when people are sad, the lungs get cold. And because the lungs get cold, they crave to warm up the lungs. So they start smoking. They start inhaling warm air to warm up the lungs. So right off the bat, they know that people who smoke carry unprocessed sadness in their lungs. Isn't that deep? Because the Chinese medicine system has mapped out the energy meridians of the body. Something a doctor knows nothing about, a Western doctor knows nothing about. Interesting, right? Fear and anxiety settle in the kidneys and the lower back. So when you have lower back pain, there is fear and anxiety. Fear for something that you don't know how to handle, or that you're just afraid of what's coming, right? You have a fear, you're anticipating something, and it's weighing you down. The weight of it, of the fear, is weighing you down. Anger and resentment settle in the liver, in the neck, and in the shoulders. So when people walk around with these tight shoulders, it's anger. Yeah. People who come up with liver cirrhosis, anger. Unspoken truths. People who come up with thyroid issues. Unspoken, there's stuff that they are not speaking, that they're not verbalizing. So the energy is stuck in the throat area. It's stuck. Shame, unworthiness, and rejection settle in the gut. Yes, those people will probably have digestive issues with the gut, bloating, I think maybe fibroid issues, and yeah, things that are in the gut. Rejection, shame, unworthiness. Trauma, trauma lives in the entire body. Okay, when you have been traumatized, that adrenaline just flows through your whole body, and that's just what it is. But I just think that it is so fascinating when I learned about this. And I check it, I check sometimes when people talk about how they now have liver issues and things, and I talk to them, I can see that it's anger, and a lot of times it's first the anger drives them to drink, and then all of that combined with the stuck energy really shuts down the liver. So it is so absolutely fascinating how particular energies settle in particular areas in the body. So now, once the energy is stuck there, because we can't skip this step. Once the energy is stuck, now the energy is going to block the functioning of that organ. The organ is not going to be able to, replenish itself like it normally would. It's not going to be able to feed itself like it normally would, to absorb the nutrients that it needs. And the energy keeps getting heavier and heavier and heavier and heavier until it can become a cancer cell that grows and grows into a tumor because it's getting heavier. You see, it's not being released. It's sitting there gaining weight. It's gaining, it's gaining momentum. So this is why it is so important that you feel, that you allow yourself to feel, that you sit with your emotions, sit with your thoughts, watch yourself, check in with yourself. When you're feeling negative emotions, pause it. Don't ignore it and suppress it and tell yourself I'm fine. No, pause. Go and take time with yourself, because here's the thing. If your child or your best friend or somebody that you know comes to you and tells you, I'm feeling so sad right now, you're going to sit with them and you're going to help them process that sadness. You're not going to tell them, oh, don't worry about it, right? Let's just go do something. Not that that's necessarily a bad thing to go do something, because sometimes if you distract yourself, things start to move. But that all depends. That's a dangerous game to play. When you're feeling true, heavy, negative emotion, you want to allow yourself to process those emotions. You want to allow yourself to feel, because you see, negative emotion gets a bad rep because it feels bad. But it is only through negative emotion that we become stronger. that we become wiser, that we become smarter about life and about who we are. The positive emotion, it's great to feel good, but what can you learn from it? Really not much. But when you are working through negative emotions, it takes you on a deep internal journey, and you go through a process of, you know, it's even hard to verbalize. You go through a process of experiencing life in a way that makes you more aware of yourself and of other people. It makes you more aware of life, right? It makes you, and it makes you also appreciate life more. Once you've, worked through it, you've let it go. Because when you're sitting with the sadness or with the anger, you can just ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? Why am I really feeling this way? And something else, a lot of times the negative emotion is caused by our own interpretation of what took place. Not necessarily of what took place, but of the interpretation that we give to what took place. Because if somebody says something mean to you, that does not mean that it has to hurt you. It only means that this person is in a bad place. Because to say mean words towards somebody else, you first have to be feeling mean. You first have to be in a bad place. It's coming out of you. The meanness, the mean words are coming out of you. So that means you have the problem, not the person that you're speaking with. You have the problem. So when somebody says a mean thing to you, it's like they're giving you something that you don't want. So don't accept it. Don't take it. Say no, thank you. I'll pass. And of course, that's not with words. If somebody says something mean to you, you're not going to actually say no, thank you. But in your mind, you're going to say, they're just having a bad day. So I'm just going to let that be. I'm going to act like I didn't hear that. I'm just going to remove myself, whatever it is. But you don't say, oh my God, how could they say that to me? Does that mean that I'm a bad person? I try so hard, da 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 da. No. When somebody is lashing out, it's because they are in a state of negativity. And you do not need to take that on and bring that into your own being. You do not need to do that. That is not smart. Let people be. Let them say what they want to say. Let them rant. Let them be. But has nothing to do with you a lot of times. It has all and everything to do with them, with themselves. So a whole lot of our negative emotion, our feelings, our sadness, our stresses come from us just taking things on that are not even our business, that are not even ours. So let's treat ourselves with love and kindness, the same way we would treat our own child or our own spouse or parent or whomever, helping them make sense, and whatever doesn't make sense, just let it be. We deserve the same care. We deserve to give ourselves the same care. So, am I forgetting something? Well, I think that you get the picture. I think you get the picture. You now understand how important it is for us to take care of ourselves and for us to process our feelings, because it's the unprocessed feelings that turn into chronic disease. Nothing else. Nothing else. We were created in perfect, we were created perfectly. Disease is an illusion. It doesn't even exist. It's a temporary thing that can be turned around just like that. The minute we understand what's going on and we start the process, everything goes away. Everything goes away. I promise you. I don't care what your diagnosis is. The minute you become aware of the emotions that you're suppressing, that you're holding on to, that you're not letting go, and you start to do that, you will get a different diagnosis. You will be free, because it's just energy. It's just energy. There is always, always time to recover. Without surgeries, without heavy meds, to do the work in the energy, because you are an energetic being first. You are spirit first, embodying this physical apparatus. So everything exists in energy first. I know that was deep, but I hope that it served you. So yeah, that's what I got for you today. And I want to say what I always say, that until we meet again, I'm wishing you lots of peace and love.